Okay, so in this part of the video, I want to maybe apply a little bit of shading. Let's see, we can, for now, maybe, well, I'll just work maybe in a couple of layers on top of this one uh, with some gray values. So I probably want to use my multiply. I'm thinking maybe a better way is to get a nice black and white version of this line sketch and put that on multiply on top of everything. But well, it doesn't really matter. I'll, for now at least, get a little bit of leveling going. Put this to white and maybe push the values a bit to black. Yep, that's better. Okay, I'll put it on top, make just some hello layer style. Uh, I'll put it on top and make a little bit of layer behind it, and I should put this on multiply. Well, that helps. Put this off and put this on normal. Yes. Um, let's maybe use some temporary layers. I like to keep my layers to a minimum. And you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna grab a pretty standard round brush. I've called it paintbrush one, but well, if you here look at the brush settings, it's just a round brush. There's a little bit of softness. I can maybe increase that, and furthermore, the flow and opacity are set to be sensitive to the pressure. But that's it. That's all. So I'll use that to lay in my colors. It's transparent, so there's a bit of glazing, and I won't start with black, but maybe just kind of build up value. And there are cases where I work with a more aggressive brush that gives the full color in one go. But it's also just to show you that basically one basic round brush will suffice. In the end, all these pixels are uh, changeable in color and value. Uh, for an indeterminate number of times, so you can always change the colors. And of course, there are some brushes that are very convenient that cut down on the time you have to spend and workload. For example, brushes with a lot of texture that is hard to achieve or time consuming to, to achieve with just a single stamp brush like this. But I don't need a lot of texture at this moment. Kind of have my silhouette, and think underneath this for now. I'll make a layer um, with a little bit of an indication of a shadow off to the side, a little bit to the back. And I've put this on a separate layer so I can play around with the opacity and thus how strong the shadow is or how rich in contrast. Maybe something like this is fine. And I guess I'll already merge all these layers because why not? Color picking again. Whoops. Uh, Wait a minute. I can kind of refine some of these values. Now, the local value of the hair is quite dark. Maybe something like this. I think this is not even enough. It's really just black Rasta hair, dreadlocks. I think I'll make it a bit darker. I still want to keep away from pure black as well as pure white. And I think I want to also decrease the overall value of the skin. He had a very dark ebony skin tone, this model. So I'll probably need to darken it some more if I want to get that across. But for now, basically want to treat it like kind of a neutral stone statue-like idea with a very neutral halfway tone, average tone. Notice that I'm not trying to zoom in. I could a little bit, but I want to keep working on the overall figure and image. And now maybe for a temporary layer, I can come in with the shadows, maybe the same value. You know what? I'll make it black and um, turn down the opacity. And given the light situation, we have the light coming from somewhere from the right, pretty high up. So that alone will give me some idea of where the shadows hit, because wherever the planes start turning to the right and of course or to the left and of course downward, we'll see shadow. Probably I can for now simplify this whole back area, show that it's turning downward until we get to the lumbar part and maybe put it all in shadow for now. And I definitely want to refine these edges and shapes so that they conform with the muscles and anatomy underneath, but uh, one thing at a time. For now, I'm trying to think about the simple form underneath. see if I can maybe just get that in and get that in, and then I can take it from there if I think I should do more. I'm thinking about here now the kind of shadow maybe cast by one leg and buttocks onto the other leg, maybe something like this. And the calf here is probably catching quite some light, and I'm just kind of drawing in the edge of shadow, or the edge between light and shadow, this so-called terminator, and get this very graphic um, indication of where the shadow hits, where the light hits, or where the light hits, I should say, and where the light doesn't hit. Now I'll glaze in the value. I'm working with black. It appears to be gray because of this lowered opacity. So even if the shadow starts or looks a bit too light, that's just a matter of increasing the opacity of the layer. And I already get this kind of indication of a so-called core shadow. So usually around the terminator, the shadow is darkest, at least the form shadow is darkest, because often that's where the direct light source is not able to hit the surface, but the least amount of reflected light is also present there. I'm missing a little bit of the shadow on the hair. You can still define quite some form. The hair was quite some abstract flat shape, but I can make it into a form by showing how the light hits. Okay, well, even though quite crude, it already starts helping the suggestion of a three-dimensional human being. And looking at the time, I see I have to go. Get ready to pick up my daughter. But maybe in the next video I can refine this render, introduce some ambient occlusion, maybe some specular reflection, or at least the passive highlight where the light hits the surfaces most directly, or the surfaces are facing the light source most directly. And for some reason my stylus has stopped working. Okay, that's great. That's indeed the ideal time then to quit. See you in next vid. Cheers for now. Bye.